Okay, now I'm unmuted. So let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Thanks, Zoe. Okay, we're back now. So we're going to be talking about our severe risk for today. First warn weather day in place. Several rounds of severe storms will be possible, and just regular rain and thunderstorm activity as well. That will start this afternoon, continue through this evening, continue through the overnight, and then by Tuesday morning, early morning lingering storms will be possible. Early morning commuters likely going to see some pounding on the roads and some additional kind of rain and thunderstorm activity, but this should be pretty much wrapping up by the time we get to like 7, 8, 9 a.m. on our Tuesday. So just a first warn in place for Tuesday morning. If things change and it speeds up, we'll take that first warn away, but right now we still have it on our radar. As we go into this afternoon, into the evening, into the overnight, our severe level risk is at a 3 out of 5, almost encompassing the entire area. There is an area of a 4 out of 5 risk highlighted in that red color in our far southern areas like Butler and Racine. Know that all modes of severe weather are possible across the area. Now, when we talk about coverage of severe storms, we're talking about scattered to numerous severe storms possible once we go throughout the afternoon and then even into the overnight. So when you think about coverage, scattered strong to severe storms to numerous are possible. Large hail, damaging winds, tornadoes, flooding are all possible as we go through this next 24-hour time frame. So make sure you have several ways to receive alerts. Make sure you know where your severe weather plan is, where you go, if there is a warning issued. Better to know than not know and have to use it. So just be, prepared in that sense. By the time we get to about noon, 1 o'clock, those chances start ramping up. Our first round starts to begin. We get a lull in the activity by about 7, setting us up for our next round that continues as we go into the overnight hours. So our kind of first 2 rounds are where we have that better chance, more scattered through the night to night. As for right now, on our radar, we've got still some rain and rumbles, mainly east of the I-35 corridor towards Sedalia, Marshall, Richmond. There's maybe a little bit of some light shower activity within the 435 loop, but most of it is off towards our east along that kind of I-70 corridor in our eastern areas. So that's what's happening now. We had some severe storms this morning. We had one specific severe thunderstorm warning that did produce 1-inch hail. So it's something that we're, hail and wind are going to be our primary threats today. And then tornadoes also kind of at a lower threat. So the next couple of hours, expect temperatures to, eventually maybe get in the 70s if we get kind of a break in the cloud cover. As for right now, temperatures are generally in the upper 60s, low 70s. So there have been a little breakage in cloud cover, and if we see that, that will better help enhance that potential for severe storms as we go through the rest of the day today. Now, I want to talk about next kind of just panning and, tracking it out, because there is a lot going on. So this afternoon, off and on rounds. This afternoon into this evening, that's when we have that highest chance for those severe storms. That's where we have that first warn weather day. Tonight, we will see a plethora generally of frontal boundaries moving through the area. A dry line, a warm front, a cold front is going to be one of those. After the cold front moves through tonight, storms will still be possible, but we're expecting them to be on a generally weakening trend. By tomorrow morning, we talked about it a little bit. Storms are still around, but we should be dry by lunchtime. First warn for the early morning hours. If that changes, we'll take that first warn away, and we would bring that update to you. For those threats, when could we see which threats and what timing is the threat the greatest? So all modes of severe weather will be possible with this afternoon's rounds. We could see them be discrete cells, so discrete thunderstorms, which could be supercellular, which are storms that are basically rotating counterclockwise. Damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes. That tornado threat for today will likely be the highest during that discrete cell potential time frame, which would be this afternoon and into the early evening hours. Once we get to the late evening, where we see kind of our second round, that's likely going to be linear. So what that means, it's going to form into a line. When we see storms in a line, more likely we see wind and hail as the primary threats, but those are the situations where we maybe have a few spin-up tornadoes occur. So that tornado threat is not zero, but it is lesser than this afternoon. And then as we go into tonight, that severe threat will slowly decrease. We're more likely then going to be in a situation where it's more likely wind and hail for those threats. All of these time frames, though, heavy rainfall will be possible. So let's track this out. By about noon, that's when we start to see some more storms start to bubble up. Here's the caveat with what happens, though, by noon, 1 o'clock. These storms are what could be discrete. And that will rely on if we get breakage from the cloud cover to see sunshine and therefore help kind of destabilize the atmosphere. So we need sunshine for there to be the potential for those stronger storms because there's more of the severe weather elements you need at play. If we have cloud cover hanging around, it's going to kind of diminish that potential for those stronger to severe storms. Not saying they won't happen, but they may not be as, strong or as severe as they could be. So that's what we're watching right now in this time frame to see what will happen by about noon, 1 o'clock. So once we get to 3 o'clock, though, as you can see at 3, we're starting to see storms move into the area. That continues, likely forming into a line. And if we pull this back a little bit, they start discrete. And then by about 4, 5 o'clock, forming into a line and pushing out of the area. So there's kind of round 1 and 2-ish. I've been counting them generally as kind of 1, 2, but they're both kind of associated with the same thing. Then by 7 o'clock, you look towards the west. There's more rain and storms on the way. That continues to push through between about 7 and midnight. And then we see scattered activity start to build in by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then continue to push out by about 7 o'clock. As you can see, rain kind of lingering around by 7 a.m. Tuesday morning, and then we start to dry out 10 o'clock. So as I'd mentioned, we still have a first warn for right now in the early morning hours, but if this system starts to kind of end early or speed up a little bit, then we may pull that first warn off. So that is the timing. That is the thinking. Know that between about 12 and about 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, storms and rain and the potential for severe weather will be around. So make sure you have several ways to receive alerts. Make sure you have that severe weather safety plan in place. This is the afternoon, evening time frame. So when you guys are getting home from work, when the kids are getting home from school, after school activities are all happening during this time, as well as graduation. There are some graduations happening this evening, most of them being indoors. But as I'd mentioned, in the event that a warning is issued, please make sure you know where to go if you are inside, like a school building or a public building, just so, you are prepared in the event that you need to do that plan. I've been mentioning a lot heavy rainfall, that flooding potential. We're looking at between the next 24 hours, 1 to about 3 inches of rain. Widespread, 1 to 3 inches of rain, isolated areas of 4. So flooding is a concern as we go into, this kind of 24-hour time frame. That's why I mentioned maybe there being a little bit of ponding on the roads as you're heading out the door tomorrow morning, especially on places that are not as well, I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of the word. But, when you travel along I-35 in the city, why can't I think of the word? I think you know what I'm talking about. Not ventilated. That's what I keep trying to say. But they don't have the drains. That's what we'll say. They don't have as well of equipped drains. So things will pond up on overpasses and things like that. There we go. We'll leave it at that. Temperature-wise right now, we're in the mid-60s, low 70s. It's warmer to our south. We've got a warm front lifting through the area. That warm front's going to help warm us up once it gets through. It's also going to be a driver of that storm potential as we go into the rest of this afternoon. 68 degrees right now in Kansas City, and it looks like we're seeing some peaks of sunshine as well. Through the rest of the day today, Temperatures, as I had mentioned, will get up into the 70s, eventually into the 60s by 9 o'clock. We've discussed those precipitation chances. And the 7-day forecast has, kind of a lot going on, as we would say, especially the next 24 hours. That first warn still remains for tomorrow morning at this point, but just a 30% chance for some rain and storms. Then the rest of the day should be dry. We are cooler though, 68 degrees. The mid-60s hang around Wednesday and Thursday, but we should be dry and see sun. That's generally way cooler than what we see for this time of year. That is going to be due to the system that's moving through today and into the overnight. Friday through Sunday brings back the spotty chance for some rain, some thunderstorm activity, but temperatures will be a little bit warmer. We're back into low to mid 70s. I will note that, Oceans of Fun does open on Saturday and celebration at the station is on Sunday. So rain chances are there right now. We're a little bit cooler than we, have been. So make sure you're checking back with the forecast if you are going to be heading to those things over the weekend. That is our latest update I've got for you on this severe weather threat as we go through the remainder of the day today. I will be back as shortly as in 45 minutes for you all for the KCTV5 news at noon. I hope you join us. If any new information becomes available by then, I will be sure to share it at noon. Make sure everybody has that severe weather safety plan in place in several ways to receive alerts. Better to have that than to not and have to use it. So I hope everybody remembers their rain gear as they're heading out the door or heading out to lunch, whatever you may be doing for the rest of the day. And have a great Monday, but make sure you kind of remain with us to have the latest details as we go into an active afternoon and evening.